and welcome to today's video. So today I'm going to go through how to teach your dog the nose touch. This is when you ask your dog to touch its nose to a specific target such as your hand. So it's a really great activity to do with your dog as it can be used in everyday life, such as recalling your dog and asking them to come in and make contact with the handler. We can use it to get your dog into a specific position, for example when you're doing a step procedure with your dog or when you're doing a nice straight sit when you're out and about. This exercise can also be used as a foundation for future training. For example, when a guide dog owner needs their dog to indicate a lift button, or when they need their dog to indicate an empty seat in the doctor's surgery. So it's a really handy thing to teach your dog nice and early. So what I've got here is, I think Ralph has just gone off to his bed, but I will get him back once I get started. But what you do need is you need a nice empty or at least quiet room where there's no distractions and you and your dog can concentrate on this exercise. You also need a good supply of your dog's kibble, all of which will come out of their daily allowance. It doesn't matter whether your dog sits or stands as long as you're both comfortable. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get Ralphie back in just a second and then we're going to demonstrate this exercise. Ralphie, come on old man, you can do it, good boy. So Ralph has done a little bit of this before, but not for a while since he's done his agility in his heyday. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to present my hand, and when he touches it with his nose, I'm just going to mark that behaviour with the yip marker and then treat him. Okay, so to start with, I am going to cheat a little bit and I'm going to rub my hands with biscuits, so it just encourages the dog to, there you go, to sniff your hand, and then you can mark the behaviour. So all I'm going to do is put my hand out, yip. As soon as he sniffed it or put his nose to it, I just yipped him for that behaviour and then I followed it with a treat. So I'm just going to do that again, yip, and then the treat comes. So you want to practice this 4 or 5 times just to make sure your dog really does understand or starting to understand what is expected of him. Yep, good boy. And it is really important that you do make sure you keep your hand still until after you said the yip before you get your treat. Yep, and then you get your treat. Lovely. Once your dog is reliably doing it and you can tell that it knows what it's being treated for, you're just going to make it a little bit harder by just putting your hand in different directions around the head. Yep, good boy. Yep. Don't worry about Cassie, she actually doesn't like this food, so she just looks like she does. Off. So once your dog's really reliably doing it and you've moved it around the head and making sure that you've done a little bit more distance, yep, good boy, which is really nice, yep, good boy. We're just going to, what are we going to do? Yep, we're just going to cue it. So before I do anything, I'm going to say touch, present the hand, and then when he touches it, I'm going to yip him for it. So I'm just going to get that off. Touch, yip, lovely. Touch, yip, good boy. Touch, yip, and then treat. Touch, yip, and treat. Good boy. Touch, yip, and treat. So that was a little bit of a mistake by me. I actually said it a bit too late there. Touch, yip, and good boy. So you can see his tail wagging, he really likes this game. Nearly did it again, didn't I? Touch, yip, good boy. Ralph, touch, yip, good boy. So he's really getting into this game, he actually really likes it. Touch, good boy. So you just missed my hand there and just touched my wrist, which is absolutely fine because then we can just sharpen that up a little bit later. Good boy. Touch. Yep. Good boy. Now it's important that we do give them thinking time. If your dog just looks at you and thinks, oh, I'm not quite sure, just give them a few seconds to figure out and just think about the process, and they might actually surprise you and go, ah, I know what you mean to do this behaviour. If your dog does become a bit frustrated, or he doesn't quite know what you're asking for, even if you've given him thinking time, it's always good just to go back to the stage where he was successful and then progress it a little bit slower, just so he can really understand what is being expected of him. So once we've got this, once we've got our dogs really understanding what we're asking them to do, we're just going to progress for the duration of the touch. So that means that when you actually present your hand, you're going to wait until your dog touches your hand with their nose, just for 1 second before you yip them, and then this will slowly progress to 2 seconds before you yip them, then 3, then 4, then 5, and then hopefully what you have is when you ask your dog to touch, the dog will stay there until you can release them. And once again, this comes in really helpful for when they're finding a chair, for example, and they will go over to the chair and put their head on the chair and just wait until they're released, rather than just quickly going to the chair and running back for the treat. I don't quite think he's there yet, but we're going to be working on this, and hopefully we'll show you a video in the future of him really trying to hold that yip, that touch. But yeah, give this a go, but I do recommend that you put a timer on for, say, 5 minutes maximum to practice this, or any exercise at one go, just in case they really do tire their brains out. So 5 minutes maximum, and even doing it a couple of times a day or every other day, just getting them used to this exercise, which is really good for them. So please do practice, post your videos on the Facebook page, and let me know how you get on with your dogs as well. Okay, have fun.